Okay, number 6, consider and take action on hiring Brian Schaefer's Group Texas Advertising as a consultant to help in devising a working plan for the renovation and operation of Oakdale Park.
Yeah, I put this on the agenda. This is sort of an outgrow of what meeting we had last Saturday at Oakdale, and I think we all understand we need to acquire a plan or some idea where we're going, cost of what we want to do, and phases of doing it. I think we know pretty well if we do anything, the first phase needs to do construct new pads on the 6 acres that we purchased. But going forward, so we have somebody that understands and can help us make sure that we get it at the best price possible, and advise us on people who can do the drawings and everything, so we can get a proper bid on doing what we need to do on those areas. His price to do that, and I think he'll stay with us through a long-term project is fairly reasonable.
Where is that in here? You said the price. It's in
Texas Advertising.
It's in the bottom.
Texas Advertising.
It's in Texas Advertising in the bottom paragraph. Basically, it would help us with the laying out the phases, would help us in devising a staffing plan, would help us in obtaining the client bid and looking at the bid to help us make sure that we've got a good evaluation on the bids. And there would be a all-inclusive price of $5,500 as a consultant.
That would not include the feasibility study? Is that above and beyond?
Feasibility.
In the same paragraph of the 5,500?
Yeah. Well, at the top paragraph there, Tom, that basically they'll been asked to perform a feasibility, which is basically going through and seeing what phases we need to renovate the park and how we need to do that, and what the potential cost will be. Consult with client, and client obtain bids of various contractors. Help evaluate the bids.
Well, all that looks good. I just have a couple of concerns. One, the opener is we hadn't identified what we want to open. I'm saying, we've gone. We're going to be RV park, retreats. What is our plans for Oakdale? I mean, are we looking to preserve and finish the historic part and then move on to
this is what we'll do on the plan, on the page.
how will that decide what? Is that
Well, he works at the behest of the council, at the request of the council. That's the things we need to give him, that information. But, I mean, we've been operating this now, Chris, for almost a year. If we haven't come to an understanding, and I thought we had, that we were going to operate Oakdale as is. Right. That we weren't going to change basically the function of Oakdale into anything other than what it has been, and that's basically a meeting, campground,
correct,
and pool.
But when we start talking, and I agree, when we start talking about the new additional 5 acres, the last thing I've seen was the last master plan that was developed, which just was nothing but an RV site, or there was no, that's all it was. With nothing else, no recreation or entertainment, and so that's what you're saying. That's not even in consideration until we.
When we had the meeting last Saturday, he covered that pretty extensively, and what he felt that we needed to do. I didn't get any agreement on it, and misunderstanding from any other council members that we would just develop that as all modern paths, and so that we could use it to the
Why
max
don't you
extent.
fix the existing sites first?
Because the existing sites, it would bring in more capital to us quicker and show more activity if we do the new sites. Because we don't have 50 amps power in the old sites, we have problems with electrical in the old sites, what's there, they're small and everything else. We're a tourist destination, and that's what we're aiming for. If we're gonna bring in groups, then they demand the larger sites, they demand when we bring in a group of 50 people or so, they demand the larger amps, and we can generate more income quicker. Whatever we do in that part, it's gonna be a long-term basis. It's not something we're gonna do the whole thing at once. So I think the intent, that was what he was going to work out for us and show us how we can do this, what it would approximately cost, what kind of monies it would generate in order we could have those monies so we can use them to redo the rest of the park, and at what stages we need to do the rest of the park. So we're not just wandering around.
Well, if we don't have an overall plan, how do we know we want to develop those 5 acres in large RV settings?
And that's one of the things that.
That's
one of
my
the problems.
concern.
I mean, that's a topic that's been brought to us several times, and we understand that. And that's probably one of my concerns is the fact that when we purchased Oakdale, I mean, the initial intent was to restore, rehabilitate, I guess, Oakdale. So, I mean, we're not in the, I didn't think that we were in a rush to start generating money. I knew when we purchased Oakdale, we were talking 3 or 4 years before we started getting any kind of capital off of it, or, you know, but I thought the intent was to build and increase our revenue with the original Oakdale, and then once the revenue increased, then continue on to the newer edition and establish that area. And just real quick,
It may have been what we had talked about, but this is where you take, this gentleman is the head of TACO, which is the Texas Recreational Association. He's all over the state, he's well qualified to advise us what is the best first step. And I don't think, we don't want to take what monies we have, which is not a whole lot left out of the bond issue, and not spend it wisely. And I think, and we've been doing this now, like I say, for over a year, because we knew we were going to buy the facility last summer. And unless we get a professional advice in doing this, then we're going to be here next year doing the same thing. We're going to lose the momentum we have in the park with people that have want to come back and use the park if we don't start showing improvement. We've already got a problem with the old park now with the gas lines. The gas leaks so bad we've had to shut the gas off. I mean,
and I understand that. I mean, we're limited on our budget. I mean, item 13 is another issue, the $100,000 that we may or may not approve. But if we're limited on funds, it seems like it'd be more costly to carry it to the new edition in order to start rehabilitating.
how are you going to know that and make a decision unless you have somebody give you a plan of what these costs of doing these different things are going to be?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I can't personally make a call.
I think you guys are both saying the same thing, though. Basically, what Bob's saying is bring this guy, he shows us what each phase would cost. What order we do them in is up to us, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, we can change the orders.
Yeah.
I mean, this is only a suggestion from him, but it's our determination of what order we want to do it.
Okay, you're talking about building the plan.
But we gotta build a plan. I'm not saying that this is concrete, but unless we have something to work on, we're gonna be here the same way, you know.
And just one other thing, and I understand what you're saying, if we're talking about generating revenue, and that's why we want to expand to the new area, even if we have festivals and activities at the O Park, and say, we can't accommodate 100 campers, but we've only got 60, that will help the public revenue also. I mean, an overflow to a nearby RV park is still a good thing, and they can still participate. So I just want to keep all options open as far as not necessarily expanding the new addition, but that we can work with the same money in the original park. Yeah, okay, so good.
We may have to prioritize what we do according to the money we got there.
We can't do it all at once.
I understand.
Unfortunately.
What money we have left, what would we do to get the most bang for the buck when we have to overload that?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand too. So I'm talking money, the 5,500 is basically everything he's written here,
Including the feasibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my first paragraph.
I really do, that's a good deal.
Motion, Tom?
I don't know how to do that.
Any more discussion?
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
if I may, Karen
I don't know
Ricketson.
if you want to go, see if you'll hear.
Yeah, I was having daughter here. The Preservation Board came before y'all last week, and I just wanted some clarification, last meeting rather, on, there will be a preservation plan and an adaptive use plan, which will incorporate some of the things that Mr. Shaverly or Schaefer, whatever, will be looking at, and with the old part. And I would just hope that if we get this grant, that he would be working with Mary Saltarelli and the Preservation Board on the old part of that. And it could be his fees for doing some of the work in the old park might be incorporated into the grant funds. We might be able to use him as a consultant as a possibility. So, you know, put him on the
I
design
think
team.
they need to be together on
So,
preservation.
Yeah.
So we've looked into other people, he's probably the best person for this job, that was Sam Bob, that you've done all the research, so you're satisfied with it?
Yeah, I'm satisfied. Everybody I've talked to said, you know, he can do us a good job, and he's really close by. I really think that he'll perform above and beyond. So,
And we can do it in any order, it doesn't matter, he answers that, so that's, yeah, okay.
Well, if we get an idea of what all these things are going to cost, then we know
Yeah.
then we sort of know
what we
which
can
way
do
we're
with the money we have.
So,
What might create more revenue.
I'm all for that.
and I'll make a motion that we enter into a contract with Brian Schaefer, Texas Advertising, to do a performance study of Oakdale, giving us phases of construction and cost, and help us, assist us when we get into making bids.
Second.
Motion made by Bob, second by Sue, all in favor? Unanimous?